So, apparently, for some reason, I'm in Boston, and I've decided that my first actual video is going to be about my favorite book. This piece of modern literary art is the most immaculate work of modern fantasy that mankind has ever seen. It is called My Immortal, and it is so much better than the Harry Potter franchise upon which it is based. Actually, I can't do this. I can't do this. Everything wrong that can happen in a piece of writing is wrong with My Immortal. There is Mary Sue characters, there's consistency issues, there's author's notes in the text, there's no accountability for spelling or grammar. But that being said, the one thing I didn't actually lie about was this idea that it's my favorite book. Despite everything that's wrong with it, no other book has ever made me feel the way that My Immortal makes me feel. Because I'm old, I read these all the way back in 2004, and they were just as awful then as it was now. And that's because this genre is so bad, it's good. Now, I've tried to deliberately write things that are so bad they're good. For instance, I don't consume a lot of romance media, but I decided to write a romance, and I decided to make it terrible. And it was so cringeworthy, I physically couldn't even make myself type. Like, I had to put it in the recycle bin, delete it from the recycle bin, and then nuke my computer from orbit. It was that bad. It was that cringe. What makes something bad? And what makes something so bad that it's good? Like, we should know by now the basic rules of reading. If you're anything like me, you thrive on negative book reviews, least favorite tropes, worst books of 2021 or whatever. But we hear all the time things like, don't have drastic tone shifts. Things like, don't have excessive world building. Things like, develop your characters. Things like, spell words correctly. Now, these types of errors are distracting at best when they are mild. But when the author decides to just full send it and make all of the mistakes they can, that's when it becomes so bad it's good. For instance, in My Immortal, what's the main character's name? Is it Ebony? Is it Anabi? Is it Ngubi? So one of the first rules of making a piece of literature that's so bad it's good is just go balls to the walls. So if you're not supposed to describe your character too much, describe exactly where they got their MCR t-shirt from. If you're not supposed to make grammatical errors, make them irregardlessly. See, now there's some books that try to go balls to the walls with all this, but they end up making too many of the errors, and they end up falling flat. For instance, if one of the rules that you're trying to break is excessive world building, that can honestly be kind of boring. But, for some reason, in My Immortal, the author goes ad nauseum about describing the length of her hair, and the length of her skirts, and where exactly she got her My Chemical Romance t-shirt from. But there was a randomness to the tone. And I'm not talking about 2004. I'm talking about the element of surprise. And anybody will tell you that in comedy, surprise is one of the most important factors. Another example of one of these dramatic shifts in tones would probably be The Room. Now, I'm probably not going to talk a lot about film because I don't know anything about film. But take the sex scenes, for instance. They are these unflattering, unsexy, really uncomfortable to watch pieces of cinema that go on for entirely too long. And you watch these types of scenes like wondering, has this person never seen a sex scene in a movie before? Do they not understand how reproduction works on planet Earth? But these things would be uncomfortable at best if it was just that. But it has to be coupled with a number of other elements, such as the cringy music, the uncharacteristic dialogue, and the excessive length of these types of scenes. Bullshit. One of the third factors of writing something that's so bad it's good. Wait, third factor? Do I like make lists now? Is that what I do on my list making channel? Gross. Anyway, the third factor of making something that's so bad it's good is not knowing exactly who created it. Like, for instance, in The Room. Sure, we know who Tommy Wiseau is. He's the alien-looking guy with the Eastern European accent that claims that he's from New Orleans, who some reason had money to make an entire movie. So I guess we don't know who he is. But same thing can happen with My Immortal. My Immortal is written by XXX Bloody Wrist 666XXX. This mystery is probably what makes it such a masterpiece. Like take Cats for instance. It's full of big name artists, it's full of really good actors. It was directed by a familiar name, same guy who did Les Miserables, and that wasn't so bad it's good. Nothing is good about this. Look at this. But it ended up being so bad it's pathetic and kind of cringy. And that's because we know that those people can do better. And sure, somebody like Tara Gillespie, the one who claimed to have written My Immortal, and Tommy Wiseau are faces that we can give a name to. However, their unfamiliarity gives rise to a lot of questions. When somebody that you don't know makes something like this, you're asking yourself, why did they show up and shit out this disaster piece without any explanation? Were they locked in a room as a child? Are they an alien trying to replicate what types of human media we watch? Did they do their best and think that this was okay? So there's an element of schadenfreude to somebody that you don't know making something that is so bad. Because maybe they did try their best. Maybe they did look it over like 10 times and decide, yeah, this is good. People need to see this. Not knowing the creator also raises a genuine question as to whether or not it's satire. It becomes an element of Poe's law, something that people know could be created by a real person, especially of a group that you're trying to represent, but you're not quite sure if it's satire or not. And this mystery as to whether or not it's a joke makes it really difficult to do on purpose. It's not impossible to make something that's so bad it's good, but you do need to know the rules in order to break them. So it is possible that XXX Bloody Wrist 666XXX is just one of the most brilliant satirists of their time. Because you have to consider that 2004 was kind of the height of emo culture. We had many, many examples of people making fun of emos. And it was just at the crux of the ironic humor that we commonly see on the internet. So it's possible that Tara Gillespie was just a satirist ahead of her time. And to be honest, it would cheapen the joke if I knew that it was a joke. It makes it so much easier to enjoy media that's so bad it's good when you do take it at face value. It's kind of part of the suspension of disbelief, or maybe reality, that somebody would create something that is such a steaming pile of hot garbage. But who knows? Maybe I'm just illiterate. Maybe this channel's so bad it's good. Thanks for running with me, bye.